Here I'm wearing this shirt again. Oh, fuck. Welcome to What's Wrong. What's wrong with Wynton Marsalis? This is what I'm going to talk about today. Damn it. I did What's Wrong with Branford Marsalis a few days ago. I was wearing this is basically my work shirt. So I'm wearing another one. It's not the same one. Yeah, might be. But it's doing the same thing to my it's like there's like a camera lens bulge, you know, that does something weird where it makes it's not flattering. I just have to get over that. Gotta get over that. Just get over it. All right, what's wrong with Wynton Marsalis? What's wrong with Wynton Marsalis? Wynton Marsalis, he is, I believe he's the second oldest brother in a New Orleans jazz family of musicians. His older brother's Branford. Younger brother, this is brothers Delfeo and Jason. I don't know if they have more. If there's more in their posse, might be a sister or another brother. Who knows? Anyway, their father was Ellis Marsalis, and he was a jazz pianist. Wynton, I know, in the Branford video I did recently, What's Wrong with Branford Marsalis? I wasn't sure that I think Branford was in Art Blakey's band in the late 70s. I know Wynton was. So, you know, all the young up and coming jazzers, they've got to go through the either the Art Blakey or the Betty Carter spanking machine, the musical spanking machine. So he did that, and then he came out with his first solo album, just called Wynton Marsalis, in 1982, and it's great. Oh my God, it's great. Fuck. I should have my CDs to hold up, you know, just to make this have something. But they're in my car. Oh God, I'm gonna try to take this with me. Oh fuck. Oh my God. I just stepped on a plate of nachos. Well, I mean, I'd eaten most of the nachos, but oh my God. Sorry, I just gotta wipe. I've got like salsa and sour cream all over the bottom of my foot. I'd eaten most of it, and then I put it on the floor next to me, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do What's Wrong with Wynton Marsalis? Ugh. And then, you know, I just took my first step, and right in the middle of the plate of nachos. All right, so I'm gonna pick it up. Okay, let's see here. All right, I'm in the basement right now. Okay, all right. I'm gonna put this plate in the kitchen. Wow. Okay. Let me go outside here. Hey, sweetheart, how are your nachos?
They're really good.
Awesome. I hope I don't lose the signal here. Yeah, let's see here. Okay. Fuck, I've got to go around. Well, my arm is kind of skinny, so let me see if I can. Oh, okay, here we go. Let's go here. Oh, shit. Okay. I just didn't want to walk around. Well, I didn't have the keys. The car was locked. Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna grab these CDs. You know what? Maybe I'll just grab the Wynton Marsalis CDs here. Yeah, because I don't want to take them. Marsalis CDs that I want to use. Okay. All right. I think I didn't lose a signal. I don't use a cell phone service. I've never paid for cell phone service. I saved thousands of dollars over the years. Okay. Love you, babe.
Love you.
It's my daughter. Okay, back down into the basement. Sorry for the diversion. All right. Okay. Did I get through all of them? Yeah, I did. Okay, good. All right, let me put this back here. Is that right? Yeah, okay. Okay, so the first Wynton Marsalis album. This is great. This is a great album. Got some 3 compositions by him, one by Tony Williams, one by Herbie Hancock, one by Ron Carter, another by looks like it's a standard or something. But he's got a collection of different people playing on this album. Nice mix. Tony Williams is on it. Boy, he sure needed something to do at that time. Tony Williams got such a raw deal in the whole 70s fusion thing. I mean, he did good stuff, but I feel like John McLaughlin really screwed him over by leaving Lifetime. And I mean, as much as I love Mob Vision Orchestra, I think where Tony Williams' Lifetime was headed it would have been a lot better. Anyway, but that was something that really hit Tony hard, from what I understand. Just in hearing people in interviews saying that it made him. He was really depressed about it. And was always just like having to work extra hard to find gigs, or keep himself up. It's like he was the golden boy at one point, and then was just kind of like on the fringe of success after that. But anyway, yeah. So then we've got So then this is I want to. I don't know if this is the first appearance of Jeff Tane Watts and Kenny Kirkland, but they're on this, and man, I mean, they're just both of them. Either one of them could hang the moon on their dick. I mean, they're just the best. They're I was talking to my buddy yesterday, and he had a really good. He said something good about them. He was just saying that Tane is just the Kenny Kirkland on the drums. I mean, they do the same thing, just insane perfection, that I don't feel like can be touched, really. So they're on this album. This is great. There's the song by Tony Williams' sister Cheryl is really cool. I remember, like a long time ago, I kind of skip it, because I thought it seemed like just like kind of a jazz song trying to be poppy, but I like it. I like it a lot. I've been in, every few years not every few years, probably every year, I go through and just listen to all the Wynton albums that I like, and so this year when I was doing it, I just really I've been appreciating Sister Cheryl a lot. But yeah, good stuff. Then he comes out the next year with Think of One. This is great. Love this album. This was, I think this is one of the first albums that one of the first jazz albums I got. I mean, I was really into oh, just as a kid in the early '80s, into '80s pop stuff, and then moved into. I started getting into Black Sabbath and like metal and stuff, and then I had like a kind of like a hair metal phase for a while, and then like a thrash metal phase, and then it was in that phase I discovered progressive rock. Got really into that. Then I started at the same time appreciating like straight ahead jazz stuff more, and I was just getting whatever albums just seemed like were like progressive rock or jazz, and this was one that I got. It's back in the early '90s. One of the first jazz records I got. Yeah, I mean, what's on here? No Smoking. Yeah, that's good. There's lots of good tunes on here. And this one is, I believe, pretty much just straight Jeff Tain Watts and Kenny Kirkland, and the font is like black on. Yeah, I think they've got like a couple of bassists that kind of switch in and out, but yeah, it's mainly Kenny Kirkland, and Branford's on this album, and Branford's on the first album as well. Then we've got Black Codes. Black Codes in parentheses from the Underground, and this is just this is a progressive rock album. This is I mean, I'm glad I thought of this. There's a YouTuber I like to watch, Andy Edwards, and he's got, I really like him a lot, and I really relate to a lot of his perspectives. But I mean, I feel like there's just some things that he's got that are just a little skewed, that where it just seems like he's just not hearing it right, or doesn't maybe know all the information. I don't know for sure, but it's somewhere in that category. But he has I'm not saying, I don't think he would say that he hates Wynton Marsalis' music, but he's definitely has like a beef that, and it went so far as to reaching Jason Marsalis and him being on Andy's channel, and that's a good video, where Jason wasn't necessarily hostile. He was just kind of like, I see where you're coming from, but I mean, honestly, like this guy Andy Edwards, he's a really big progressive rock freak, and one of the things that he doesn't like about what Wynton Marsalis kind of, I mean, he didn't. Okay, well, what he was kind of led the charge on, which is bringing kind of like a revival, straight ahead jazz thing back, and the way he talks about it. It sounds to me like if he was just talking about what like Wynton did in the very late '80s and on, then I would be in agreement with him. But he just seems to just kind of take, from what I can understand, it seems like he just takes the entire package of Wynton's career, as far as him just bringing this thing back that is, basically, I guess what Andy Edwards is saying. I mean, I'm not going to do it justice completely, but somewhat nutshelling it, that older white people were kind of funding him, and at some point in general, like if you were going to look at the demographic, and that he was playing music that catered to their taste, Well, I mean, again, I would agree going later, but his early stuff, it's just, I mean, it's definitely like honoring, he's obviously very interested in like mid-60s Miles Davis, Wayne Shorter, Joe Henderson stuff, Coltrane, that whole thing that was going on in the mid-60s, early to mid-60s. But I feel like he puts his own stamp on it, I mean, it's just, it's not a one for one thing, he, and the way he does it is, there seems like there's some progressive rock influence in there. I mean, and I think I've seen some interviews talk where, maybe it was in that one with Jason Marsalis, where he was talking to Andy Edwards, and Jason was talking about how Jeff Tane Watts was. I'm just gonna call him Tane. I mean, it's like I feel it makes me feel like a scumbag just to say, "Hey, Tane," or Jeff Tane Watts. I mean, but then hearing like the entire name, just I don't like the sound of just like constantly saying it. So I'm just gonna apologize and just call him Tane. Okay. Um. So yeah, in the interview, Jason Marsalis was talking about, that Tane was really into progressive rock and progressive rock drummers from the '70s, and something about it, I might be getting this wrong, but something about it gave me the impression that you know that their whole collective, that were the friend group, were kind of, they appreciated that. Maybe not. Maybe Wynton was just completely 100% straight ahead jazz guy, but this album especially, you just really hear, I hear progressive rock in it, and I hear I'm moving forward with jazz as far as a next step. I mean, it may not be like fusion was a huge step beyond the post bop, hard bop stuff. Um, and modal stuff that was going on. It was like it was like, this is a new category of jazz or whatever. But and I understand that the stuff that went in the new traditional movement, um, it doesn't. It seems very close to like early '60s or late '50s, early '60s, mid '60s straight ahead jazz. But it to me, it just seems like it's still a step forward. I mean, if you want to be technical about progress, because oh man, that's another video I want to make. Is like, what's wrong with progress? Because I think there is something wrong with progress and people's perception of it. I'm so tempted to just start talking about it right now, but I'm not. But I mean, it's really, when you think of, like, I'll just say real quickly that when you think of, just something that happened, you're reading some article about some kind of cataclysmic event that happened, hundreds of millions of years ago. They're like, yeah, it happened, somewhere between 250 to 300 million years ago. It's like 250 to 300 million years ago. And, we're like, oh, yeah, okay, all right, yeah, that's, it's just somewhere in there. Just somewhere in that 50 million year period, this happened. It's just, and then now we're worried about, now we're like hating on people for trying to do something like 20 years later that seems like to evoke or be aping or imitating, something that happened musically. It's just like, I don't even know if that qualifies as 20 years qualifies as even a speck. It might be like an electron in the compared to the timeline of we're just spitballing this, like, hey, this Paleozoic, Mesozoic thing happened like within a 50 million year range. I mean, we're fine with that. We're fine with that. But like, oh man, you're doing something that happened 20 years ago. This is not progress. There's a problem here. There's a problem with that thinking. But then at the same time, but everything, there's stupidity in everything. Like, you look at the swing dance revival of the late '90s. I mean, that's just inherently, I just think it's completely stupid. That's but it doesn't. But it's like the idea of a revival, or like looking to the past for inspiration. I mean, things were moving so quickly in the music industry. They were moving so quickly within a short amount of time, and shit, I'm doing the fucking video of something else I didn't want to do. All right, I'm gonna stop because I want to do that of its own video. So, but about Wynton Marsalis, I just feel like he gets kind of, targeted for doing that and like catering to white people, old rich white people. And I mean, believe me, I think he did that, which I'll get to. But in the beginning of his career, several albums, it's um, he was on the edge, and I mean, I think it's great to go back and like to a time that you appreciate something happening, and just feeling like, hey, you know what, I relate to this time, and I want to do something. I want to be somebody who adds to this thing um, that happened. But then there's stupid stuff where it's like I just want to be a person who like almost verbatim imitates, or just like egregiously imitates so and so artists. I don't know. I mean, there's good and bad and everything, and there's a perfect balance, and happy medium. That's what I was trying to think of. A perfect medium. All right. So then after, so this has got Tane and Kenny Kirkland, and I think who's the bassist? This is, I know that my favorite bassist in their little posse was like Charnette Moffett and Bob Hurst, especially. Where's the fucking lineup? Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, whoever it was that was on here. Maybe it's on the back. No. Anyway, it's got some great songs on it. I mean, there's just everybody's burning. It's progressive jazz. It's straight ahead jazz. It's great. Then he comes out with J Mood, and the J Mood's I don't like cracked CD cases, and I was afraid it did, but fortunately something broke its fall. J Mood is great. For a while, this album kind of bothered me, and I think I was listening to it, and I was like, man, Kenny Kirkland's kind of slow in this, or just I don't know. I don't like he's exploring something, and then I realized, oh, then I look on the liner notes, and I'm like, okay, it's Marcus Roberts, who I like. He's kind of like what Bill Evans would want to be if he was black. Black Bill Evans. Is that what I want to say about him? I don't know. This is very impressionistic, and maybe it's I don't know. Marcus Roberts just no. He's not the Black Bill Evans. On this album, he this is kind of blue. This reminds me. This seems like a Wynton's kind of blue album, or maybe yeah, kind of blue. I didn't like it it's a impressionistic album compared to his other ones, and and for that reason, it takes me like every time I listen to it, the first time I'll usually put the CD in my car, and then I'll leave it there for a few days and just listening to it over and over again. And it's usually not until the second time. The first time I'm always like, oh yeah, I guess I didn't like this much. I remember. Then I listen to it again. I'm like, okay, yeah. It always takes like a second or third listen for me to really just start appreciating it. Then we come to Wynton's. Oh, by the way, I totally skipped Hot House Flowers, which was right before Black Codes, and that one I feel like was kind of it's not. I don't think it's bad. It's just not. It's just not the things that I appreciate about him. Although I did listen to it again more recently, or I sampled it, and I was like, I kind of wish I had this, because it's kind of like his Sketches of Spain album, maybe. Yeah, I would like to have it, because I was like really appreciating the orchestration and everything. The song titles, looking at the song titles, it does not look like it's gonna be very good. Just like a bunch of corny shit. It's like, oh boy, he's trying to go corny here, but I should get it. I need to get it on CD. But after J Mood, he does his first Standard Time Volume 1. This is great. Man, this is just, putting all these standards, and setting them on fire. I mean, the stuff he does in there is just, it's great. All of them on there. And I think this is Marcus Roberts again. Yeah, Marcus Roberts is on piano. Missing Kenny Kirkland. I mean, I like Marcus Roberts, but I feel like, as I've said in another video, like Kenny Kirkland just has ruined me for pianists. I mean, I just can't. He's just so wildly dynamic and amazing that I can't. I just feel like I can't move on. Man, 25 minutes in, and I haven't even gotten to what's wrong with Wynton Marsalis. I'm just doing the setup. I hope this hasn't been too boring so far. Okay. Okay, so I'll just cut off the thing. Now, what happens at this point after standard time? And this is interesting to me, at least. In the What's Wrong with Branford Marsalis video, which you can check out if you haven't seen, I was not sure. I knew that at some point, Wynton kind of became in charge of the Lincoln Center jazz stuff, and the director of that, or whatever his title was. But and he's been doing that since until just I think last year. This year he quit. But I wasn't sure. I didn't know for sure when that happened, what date that was. But to me, I just felt like I knew in my bones, like this happened in 1988. And so in the Branford video, I said, this is what happened in 1988. Now, I believe. And then I posted the video, and my buddy messaged me, and because he looked it up, and it was 1987, which makes sense. And I would have said 1987 because, I wasn't thinking like, when an album has a date on it, that usually means that it was recorded the year before, right? And then, or very early in the year. So that would have made more sense if, I said 1988, I was thinking 1988, but I called it, and I mean, you can hear it. And not only, it's not like a big call, it's just, you can fucking hear what happened. And, he just starts going downhill. Whatever. My friend said, my buddy, he says, his quality got flushed down the drain with his mustache. Because, and he may not have shaved his mustache in 1988 or 87, but he shaved his mustache off at some point, or within a 3 or 4 year range. And we just kind of jokingly associate that with his, him being like Samson, cutting his hair, except he shaved his mustache, and lost all his power, his power of quality, of good quality. He shaved his mustache, flushed it down the sink, and said, bye-bye. Bye, Jeff Tain Watts. Bye, Kenny Kirkland. Bye, Bob Hurst. And what he did was he hired these guys that, I guess they were young and up-and-comers, maybe a little bit younger than Kirkland and Tain. Maybe they weren't. Maybe they were exact contemporaries. But the way I imagine it is that they were a little bit younger, and they were like, yeah, Wynton's calling me for the gig. Herlin Riley. Yeah. That's what I'd like to think. Like, if I was giving Herlin Riley credit, that he was excited about getting the call, showed up, and then was like, yeah, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go down home. We're going to do way back revival. We're just going to be stomping the floor and just, putting on a performance of pretending that we're, just in some kind of a shack in 1905 or whatever. Some kind of a crossroads, Roadhouse Shack. I don't know whatever they were. What do you recall those things back then? Um, and it's just everything takes a turn. The look, the sound. It's just like old timey, old fashioned. And you know what? To me, that does seem like what old white people want to hear. Like they just want to see black people in that place. I mean, you could also say that that was the place that black people were in. I mean, not just black people. I mean, any musician dabbling in jazz, but um, that's there's some romanticization of that. And I guess it goes both ways. It was working for the old white people. Feeling nostalgic for something that their parents or grandparents um, witnessed, which they probably didn't even witness. It's just like some imagined thing. I don't know, or maybe it was actual. And then maybe for the way Wynton processed it was like, I haven't watched any videos of him talking about it, so I'm just speculating here, and probably, I hope. Well, whatever. He. Yeah, and so maybe from his perspective, he's just thinking like, well, this is the tradition of my culture, and I'm just honoring it. I just want to do this, and I mean, I don't know. To me, it seems like a little excusey, like just convenient that he gets a steady paycheck as a director of Lincoln Center or whatever his title was, but that he was just overseeing this and putting on the programs and doing these things, and it was not good. I mean, I can't listen to that stuff. And speaking about Herlin Riley, another thing, my buddy, he kind of started it, but we like to talk about it, is the snare dribble phase. It's like the mustache is shaved and you introduce snare dribble. It's like doom, 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 doom. It's just like a strategically loose stick that just gets dropped on the snare head, and the intended effect is for it to be just um, charmingly disorganized sounding, like organized disorganization. Like, hey, we're just having a hootenanny. Oh boy, yeah, we're just doing it. Oh, it's a good time, yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, it's it's just really I don't know. It's just it's to me it just looks performative, um, and it seems like a fine line because it's it's not it's performative, but it's not. I mean, because that's part of black culture is responding to music in a certain way, that white people just don't naturally do. The way they move, clapping, shaking a tambourine. I mean, whatever. I mean, it's just I'm just stereotyping here, but these are the things that are part of that. But see, this is what I feel like he's riding a fine line of what is natural culture and tradition, and then what is just twisting it a little bit into what's the word? Just performative, kind of embarrassingly performative territory where you say, no, this is for real. No, this is for real. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it's a little stretched and flexed a bit. I don't think it's just just everybody having a natural good time. I think it's everybody being in a just being in the same place of nostalgia, and wanting to just kind of make believe and pretend that this is okay, this is natural. This is normal. This is normal. And, you know, and I mean, what's the crazy thing is, I mean, this is, so, you know, I mean, I've heard some things here. I've not listened to every single thing that Wynton has done since 1988, but I've sampled a lot of it, and, you know, it's just none of it's, I haven't heard a single thing that just makes me impressed whatsoever, or feel like, you know, like, yeah, that's you, man. That's you. And it's just, I feel like it's a, you know, like when a child is very attached to a parent, and just, you know, kind of just looks to them for direction, and then the parent dies, and then they just want to go overboard, just, you know, becoming their, you know, just taking over their life, you know. I mean, it's just, what a situation like that, I feel like, you know, he's just honoring something, you know, but whatever. I mean, he wanted to do it. It's his choice, you know. It's fine. It's fine. We got a good stack from him. We got a good stack here. We got a good run. A really good run, man, of actual good stuff. Before the shit started hitting the fan and spraying all over everybody's eardrums. Oh, man. I mean, you know, I guess there's some guest appearances that I've heard him on that where, you know, he's just kind of like forced into something that's has some decency to it, integrity. What did I use? What was I using last? The word I was using, not integrity, not decency. It was, oh, God, I've got to remember this word. What's that fucking word I used? I said, because I said Branford does not have dignity. Dignity, yeah. It's like he's being forced into these situations as a side, you know, like a guest side man, you know, where he's being forced into back to dignity. And I'm glad I thought of that, because that's what I think about him, is that, you know, where I was saying in the Branford video that Branford inherently does not have any dignity, but he's like trying to clamor for this, you know, the dignity of his peers and his influences, you know, and he does a great job of that. I mean, you know, just because somebody's a try hard doesn't mean that it doesn't land ever. Yeah, I mean, it can land for sure, and he does. He's a good high quality. He's a top shelf try hard, Branford. Wynton, born with dignity. He didn't have to try. He's got it coming out all over the place, out of every pore and orifice. But what he did in 1987 was he just folded it up like a little American flag, and, you know, presented it to the grieving widow. Said, here you go, guys. Here's my dignity. I'm gonna give it. I'm just gonna get rid of it. I don't need it anymore, because I've got my Lincoln Center paycheck, and yeah, you know, I'm good. I'm good with the revival, with the old hootenanny tent revival. Saying, oh yeah, oh woo, yeah, ooh, we're just, you know, and see now, like right now, it seems like I'm just like making fun of black people. No, I'm making fun of his twist on things. You know, I mean, he's making fun of black people doing that. Yeah. So, and I mean, okay, so enough said about that. What else is there to say about him? Oh yeah, I mean, he had some strong opinions. You know, I mean, he was, you know, I mean, but he was young. He was known for, you know, like he's calling out Miles Davis. Maybe, who else did he call out? Did he call out Pat Metheny, or I think it Pat Metheny calling out Kenny G? I don't know. Either way, I mean, I know that he was, you know, had some kind of a beef with Miles, and there's probably more people, stuff like that. But you know, I mean, I don't necessarily think he was right in all in his overall philosophy, you know, but he was damn good at what he did in the early to mid '80s. Standard Time Volume 1, The Headstone from his grave of dignity. What else? I gotta wrap this up. This is how many minutes am I at? 40 minutes. Fuck. Nobody's gonna watch this. Nobody's gonna fucking watch this. Oh, you know what? I'll take the last couple minutes, and I want to make a. God. Yeah. I just want to mention this briefly. This Delfeo Marsalis album. This is great. God, I love this Delfeo Marsalis. This was actually this is my first jazz CD, I think. Like, you know, legit jazz CD. Yeah. I might have gotten some jazzy tapes. I don't know, like just thinking like, oh, I want to hear what jazz is, and I don't even know what it would have been, but yeah, I believe this is my first jazz album that I got, and man, this has got Wynton on it. Yeah, good. This is 92 and 93. He sounds great on it. Branford, Tane, Jason Marsalis, Kenny Kirkland, Marcus Roberts. This is a fucking good album. Now I need to do What's Wrong with This. I am going to do What's Wrong with This because, or What's Wrong with Delfeo. Man, nobody's going to watch that. Well, what's wrong with this is that the production, which is so strange because like Delfeo was like Mr. Producer or Mr. Engineer for like all these albums, right? I mean, or most of them, and all his brothers, and you just see Delfeo, engineer, producer, maybe. Shit. No. Let's see. Well, you know what I'm saying. I mean, if you're looking at jazz albums, you know that his name is all over. He has something to do with the engineering. Yeah, I believe it's engineer. What happened here? What happened here? I mean, this is like, it's not unlistenable, but it's just like it's compared to all his brother's stuff and everything else you hear him involved in the recording of. This is like muddy and flubby and, you know, just weird not great. What I think is that it's just not a major label. Novus, I mean, it says RCA in the corner. Maybe it was is this because this was like a record club release? I honestly don't know if Novus was the label or if it was a subsidiary of RCA, because I mean RCA, you know, they do good recordings, so there would be no excuse if this is like coming from RCA. But if it's Novus, which I don't know anything about, it could be that it's just like some kind of well, bigger, slightly bigger than DIY label that is you know, or he just didn't. Maybe it was a funding issue. Maybe it was he couldn't pay for the good studio. I don't know. I mean, who knows what it is? But as far as the music here, it's great. Oh my God, I love this. And this is a great example of This takes Black Codes and goes a step further with progressive jazz. And when I should say progressive straight ahead jazz. Taking the great ideas of, you know, that Wynton was doing Black Codes, that Wayne Shorter does, that Herbie Hancock does, and just turns up the volume in a new traditionalist, you know, later era style. It's totally right. It's called Pontius Pilate's Decision. It's like a biblical concept album. Amazing. You can check that out. Anyway, Wynton Marsalis. So that's what's wrong with him. He has inherent, born with dignity. He folded it up like an American flag and gave it to his grieving audience. Said, "I'm dead. I'm dead now. I'm owned by the Lincoln Center, and they want the old crusty white people want me to you know, get the tent revival, hootenanny, floor stomping, Roadhouse, 1910, Oh yeah. Woo. Oh yeah. I mean, just like Jesus Christ. I mean, just it's just like taking all the cornball, you know, the things the cornball essence and details of that music, and just hamming it up in in the 1990s. I mean, it's not it's as bad as the swing dance revival stuff. I mean, it fits right in with that, you know. It fits right in with it. God, fuck that stuff, man. Fuck him for getting rid of his dignity willingly. God, I hope he spends the last. He just quit the Lincoln Center thing. The first thing I thought is he gonna make black codes too? Please, please go start making. You know what? I forgive you, Wynton. I forgive you for doing that bullshit for 30-something years. You know, make black codes too. Keep going with that. You know, who cares that was 40 years ago? You know, we're talking. We're like, hey, this cataclysmic event happened within a 50 million year range. You know what? You're good. Well, I'll give you a 100-year range. You know, for. Well, wait a second. No, because that would put him right back in 1910. No. Where I don't like it. Anyway, okay. I should shut this off. I think that's all that. Yeah, amazing player. I mean, everything he plays is he just shits gold. He shits gold whenever he is embracing his dignity that he was born with. God, there should be something. I know. Fuck. As soon as I shut this off, I'm gonna think of 5 things. God, fuck me. I better shut this off so I can.